Pansy is out here with me tonight. Where is she? Can't see her. It's Pansy, Poppy, Percy. I'm sure Perry's around here somewhere. Yesterday I made a video and I was just droning on and on and on. So I decided to pull it. So I'm really sorry if you saw it, because I'm basically going to repeat myself, just hopefully much more succinctly, because there actually is a point, which is this. This is a work update, and as I'm sure you've heard, I've been having fun with my job and being overworked, etc. And I bet there's people out there that are just as annoyed with my job as they had been with how I was being treated by my mother. That I'm basically getting steamrolled by people, and I kind of agree with that. So here's what happened. My supervisor, who has made my job tolerable. See, I actually don't mind the work. Again, I'm got avoidant personality disorder. It's the interacting with people, especially pain in the butt people, that gets to be a problem. I mean, you would think, because my job is very, very interaction heavy, but I don't continuously, see the same people over and over again. It's very much of most of my job is like a burst. I'm actually doing the work is with somebody that at least 80% of them, I never see them again, ever. And then there's the people I actually have to work with, and it's a problem. But my supervisor left last Thursday, and when she left, literally half the staff left on the same day. As soon as she gave notice, just like dominoes, they're gone. And actually another 2 have left since Thursday. Yeah. And then there's my manager, who is my supervisor's boss. She's a nightmare. She's an absolute nightmare. And she can't do much of anything and has been dependent upon the supervisor to do basic things like scheduling. This is why I've been working so much, is because, and it's actually the massive amount of flexibility in my job is why I travel so much. There are benefits, okay? But she can't do basic parts of the job. It was so frustrating to her that the supervisor basically did her job, was basically acting manager. And she left. So, and then we started having these people, first of all, half the staff left, and then the other people started calling out and then quitting. So we just have a massive amount of just man hours, that need to be done. I mean, there's just a huge amount of work, which actually I appreciate. I would rather be working straight through, as hard and as insane as it is. I don't notice it. I can't stand sitting around doing nothing, waiting for the next job to come in. There's a car or something. Better get off the road. Again, benefits that suit me. That's a driveway, I think. Come on, cats. Don't get squished. Please. Oh, good, they're going the other way. Anyway, so, I live in the Northeast, Puritan values, all the way. People are supposed to be a company man, is how they put it. That whatever the company is, you help them with. And so the result is I added it up. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days. I worked 31, almost 32 hours in 3 days. And I mean, I worked. I actually paid attention to it. On Sunday, I took 2 pee breaks. And I didn't eat the entire time I was at work. Now, I was supposed to come in at 5, and I actually started at 1. And the reason I came in, because I'm an idiot, that's why the reason I started early is because my manager didn't know how to do a schedule. I mean, she had no idea how to do a schedule. It's pretty easy with as few people as there are, but she has no idea. And I knew it was going to be hard. And this is a new schedule that was starting today, Monday. And nobody knew they were supposed to work. So I came in and was like, okay, listen, I understand we're going to be busy. And I understand it's going to be stressful. I'm covering for you. So you just take the time and go do the schedule. Period. Just do it. And actually, because the night before, it was actually her boss that was in charge. And I had actually talked to this guy. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, yeah, go for it. So like her boss was aware of this plan. She was aware of this plan. But what does she do? Not much of anything. She wasn't even doing like work. Forget about doing the schedule, which was the plan. Because I asked her, I said, what's up with the schedule? She said, quote, I don't know how to do it. So, I swear this was supposed to be succinct. And I swear there's supposed to be a point. Long story short, she did not do the schedule at all. And I worked past my shift into the night. And then, here's the thing though. I have explained the pendulum theory. This is my theory. I made it up, whatever. I don't think it's really original in the slightest bit, but I talk about it all the time. Let me go over it again. Pendulum theory is, even if you have avoidant personality disorder, which is a massive wall in keeping you from doing whatever, anything really, at some point, the stress will be so bad that your pendulum will push past that wall. And you will be able to do whatever you needed to do. Now, how I normally talk about this is with relationships. You know, at some point, I mean, it's awful terminology, but it's, at some point you get so desperate and you're so lonely, it overrides the avoidant personality disorder, the avoidant traits you have and behaviors, and you go out and are able to meet people. And then you're so stressed from it that it causes a near collapse, but whatever. At some point, you get past it. I basically hit this with my job. Now, that doesn't mean that I quit. What it means is I stood up for myself. Oh, Pop's way back there. I'll get him on the way back. And I basically stopped taking her crap. And, you know, there were a few things that were not cool. Among them was that she was trying to basically take some of the pay that I earned and transfer it to herself, which of course she can do because she's the manager and she's got access to these computers. I mean, she can't figure out how to do a schedule, but she can figure out how to do that. And she was trying to do it, but I kept very close tabs. I always do. It's actually what quirk that I have that it's sort of a distraction. When I get stressed out, I can just like add up all the numbers and look at it and be like, okay, this is at least what I'm making. I mean, it's literally a distraction technique. But I was on it and I saw what she was doing and I was like, no. And she came back, well, she deserved compensation for the amount of time that she was there. I'm like, you're salaried, you are compensated, and you don't ever get anything extra. Hello, does that sound avoidant? That sounds like standing up for myself. And then the next thing just as I was leaving, I'm like, do you have a schedule for the next day? Because this is very stressful to me. First of all, I worked so hard and so many hours. And then I've got to plan the whole, my weeks around the days that I don't work so that I can, do life stuff. And she hadn't. So I was like, okay, then I'm not working on Monday. And there was part of me, I had been thinking, geez, I should do this for like 3 hours. But I actually did it. I actually stood up for myself and was like, I'm not going to work on Monday. And then she got all snotty and she's like, well, did I ask you to work on Monday? I'm like, no, you haven't done anything with the schedule. I haven't seen anything. So, yeah. And then comes the inevitable. When you do the pendulum swing, it swings one direction and it turns around and gets you in the other direction. All right, I used to go all the way down there, but it's very bright down there. I'm not interested in whatever's causing that light. This is where the ghost is. I don't hear him. Well, maybe I'm not far enough. Him, who knows what it is. Ghost? No ghost tonight. Let me go find a cat. Anyway, and I know that's ridiculous. I see that as a joke on myself, by the way, when I say that type of thing. Anyway, whatever. You can decide whatever you want to think of that. I think it's funny because it does make me nervous because I'm like, what the hell is in there? It's probably like a possum or something, but I'm like, if it was a fisher, oh my gosh, the other night my cats flushed out a fox and it barked and it made the wildest noise. I had never heard anything, especially close. I was like, oh my God. It sounded almost like an industrial, factory sound. I was like, that's a fisher and it's going to kill my cats. They're going to die because, of course, they kept going after it. Anyway, whatever. So I don't know what type of whatever it is that's making the noise. So it actually makes it ridiculous and benevolent, and don't worry about it if I say it's a ghost. So anyway. So then comes the blowback, the pendulum swinging the other direction. First of all, I got an email at 4:30 this morning saying that I'm not on the schedule and I don't work at all this week. And at first I was like, huh? If that's not a rejection, I don't know what it is. The second thought I was like, because at first I was like, oh, they don't need me at all. They don't want me at all. My second thought was, oh my God, I might be fired. I stood up to my boss. I might be fired. How dare I? The third thought was, woohoo, I might get an extra week of vacation because I've been working so much that I can definitely afford to take a week off without pay. But then I came to my senses and realized that either, in any way, the manager just screwed it up. Either she put it into the wrong week or she didn't even try and just hand wrote stuff and hasn't bothered to inform people of their schedule. I did not work today. Today is Monday. I didn't work. I was not on the schedule, and I did not work. I did, however, call one of my coworkers that I knew would be logged in because of a regular schedule. Some of them have regular schedules. Someone like me, they sort of float. It stresses me out to think that I have to be at a certain place at a certain time all the time, and I can't ever change that because I feel like if I give my commitment to something, then I'm committed to it, period. That means I can never take that time off. Therefore, I have a floating schedule. But other people have set schedules, so I contacted this person who then relayed me the schedule. And I only work 4 days this week. Now, granted, it's Poppy. I only need to work 20 hours. I really wish I only worked 20 hours at this point after working so much. Last week, the week before that, oh my God, the only break I got was when my father died. So I'm like, I really need a break, and I really actually appreciate it, and I bet she thinks that she's, kicking me in the teeth, but in fact, she's actually, done me a really big favor. And you know what? I'm going to stand up for another one because she has me working basically overnight on Sunday, next Sunday. Nope, ain't happening. That's just, it's not a great night. Nobody wants work on that night. So it's sitting around doing nothing, waiting for jobs that aren't coming. So that's a hell no. Can't work that late, and I'm going to, again, stand up for myself. And if she doesn't like it, I don't care. I don't know. But it's very stressful to me. Like I said, there's a big part of me that's like, yeah, I might not be working there. I might get fired. I mean, that is how my brain works. If I don't, go above and beyond, give more than what I was asked, then I haven't proven my worth. And I mean, actually, my supervisor used to make fun of me because if I didn't make my, whatever it is, my brain is not working. Hey, Pop, if I didn't make, my goal, I would be like, oh my God, and I would be all down on myself, and she'd make fun of it. She's like, oh yes, you're worthless. I was like, how she came up across with that word, but she would, and it was like making fun of me because I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't do enough work. I should have worked more. I mean, the thing is that you can only do as much work as what comes in, so I have no control over that. Hey, Pop. She would, like I said, make fun of me for it, as opposed to the manager who, when I'm working like crazy, and actually the last 2 nights, first Saturday and then Sunday, both nights I had a record amount of work that I had done on one day, and then that Sunday I broke it again. And how does my manager respond? She thinks I made too much money and that she feels like some of that should go to her, and I am not kidding. And I'm like, what is wrong with your brain, woman? But the reason I was able to stand up for that is because everything is attached to my social security number. It's a computer, which means I'm going to pay taxes on it. I mean, if it was like, I don't know, somehow that it wouldn't credit me, because that's what she was going to do. She wasn't going to say, finagle the system to make it look like she did the job because she knew that would get flagged. She was just literally going to take cash from me to her. And yeah, no, I'm not paying taxes on stuff I'm not going to get paid for. So that sort of little anal thing I got going on, I mean, it's the same thing. I wasn't standing up for myself. I was standing up for these numbers have to add up a certain way, and you can't screw around. Numbers add up one way, that's it. You can't screw around with that. Numbers have to add up. So I wasn't defending myself, really. I was defending numbers in the universe. But, I mean, that's how I operate, and I know it. I know it. If it was, oh, here, I'm supposed to give you this money, but I'm going to take this and give me, like, a lousy excuse. If it was, like, cash money, I would have just been silent. I wouldn't have said a word. If it had been, like, an under-the-table type of situation, because that would have really, truly been defending myself, as opposed to, yeah, anyway, I've been over this. So, the point for people with avoidant personality disorder is, yeah, really, truly, if you're doing this pendulum thing, which I think most people do, they try to stay in the middle, even though it sucks, because in the middle is not your best life. In the middle is basically not having your avoidant scream at you, which means you're not really being authentic to yourself, because you're going along with this personality disorder that got sort of imposed on you, that was created. Nobody is ever born avoidant. You're made. And yet, it's way easier to just be like, okay, whatever, I'm going to go along with it. And you limit yourself based on that. Well, at some point, the stress, I'm trying to, stay quiet so the avoidance doesn't yell at you. The stress of reality of life will push you into ignoring this avoidance. And that is what's happened with me with work. Now, I expect fallout, because manager, if she's willing to do all this stupid crap, this is like unethical shit, then you know that she's willing to hold a grudge and try and keep it against me. I know I might have to quit. I would suck, because then I would have to get a new job, and the process of getting a new job is like a really horrible, awful thing. Anybody that's had avoidance knows. It used to be part of the DSM underemployment. That was a diagnostic criteria that could get you a diagnosis of avoidant personality disorder, until they changed it, because employment is such a big deal for somebody. Oh, it's starting to mist and rain, and I don't know what the heck, I gotta get going. I guess it's good that we came back. 2 cats. Pansy, I'm sure, is already home, because she is smart. Anyway, and I don't know where Perry is. He might be already in the house. But yeah. So that's what happened. I hit the wall of stress due to my job. I did not quit. I stood up for myself. Quitting would have been an avoidant thing, and it would have been a self-esteem thing, that I was beating myself up, that I wasn't worth this job, and I wasn't a good enough employee for my other co-workers, and so to help them, I needed to quit. That's how avoidance would have worked. It would have convinced me to quit. That's not what happened. What happened was, I was like, I've, gone as far as I can, and that's it. And you know what? I expected immediately to hear, I did not expect her to go, well, I didn't even want you anyway, which is what she said. Well, not in those words exactly, that's what she said. Yes, Pop? I expected her to be like, who the hell are you to limit your time? Except I'm sitting there, and I think it was afterward. It might have been right before, but it wasn't something like in this prep of when I was getting pissed, and I'm like, I came in, and she wasted my time. The plan was, she was supposed to do this job, and she had all this extra time to do it, and she basically, screwed around. She was doing really basic sort of, God, the crap she was doing, anybody could have done. That anybody who was not actually doing a job, it's a type of thing that anybody could have jumped in and done. And instead she was like, oh, well, I'm going to do this super underling thing that they usually give to people that are being trained. And that's what she did instead of doing the schedule. Instead of doing her actual job. And I was expecting her to say, well, who are you to say, limit the number of hours that you have? And I'm like, wait a minute, other people do it. They all do it. Mine was a little bit short notice, but at least I didn't call in. And she didn't say a word about that. My fear of what she would say did not come to pass. However, because there's some devious part of her that knew exactly what to say to make me the most upset, she hit me with that. Well, I don't want you anyway. Cool, beans. No problem, because I don't want to be there. We're on the same page. Frog. Why are the frogs still hollering? I don't know. Usually they're mating when they're yelling, and it's too late in the season for that. Anyway, yeah, but I am expecting crap from her. Other than having my hours reduced, which really is a good thing as far as I'm concerned, she's going to realize that that's really not a problem for me. Oh, it's starting to really rain. She's going to get me, I'm sure, but whatever. So I had a nice day off today, and it felt pretty bad. Physically, I felt like crap, because emotionally, I had done this big giant job yesterday of sticking up for myself, and I expect more, more sort of symptoms, that I pushed the pendulum the other direction, and now it's going to wallop me the other way, and it's going to be days, maybe weeks, that it's going to bother me. What, Pop? I know, it's really dark and misty out here, and it's starting to rain. We should run home, huh? Actually, it smells kind of sweet. You know what that smell is? That's a smell of a skunk that's getting ready to go. Maybe we should get out of here. Are we too near a skunk? Skunks can be perfectly nice until they aren't. Anyway, yeah, that's what happened. And of course, the other thing is, I'm ruminating on it now. I'm sure that my boss not thinking about it at all. But as soon as she sees me, it'll click in, and she'll do whatever retaliation she tries to do. Also, yeah, I already said, I've got to have a little chat with her about the hours that she put me in on Sunday and let her know that's not happening. I mean, that's still 5 days notice if I tell her tomorrow. She's just going to have to do her job. Not my responsibility. I don't have to feel bad because she has to do her job. Anyway, I'm going to hide away the phone. I don't think this is nearly as succinct as I thought it was. I think it's more organized than the last video. Anyway, got to get out of this rainy whatever. I'll talk to you later. Bye.